All right, everyone, we'll go ahead and get things kicked off for today. Welcome to today's demonstration. Today's going to be all about Canvas's dashboards and advanced reporting. My name is Tanner Nyers. I'm a pre-sales consultant here at Canvas, where I work hand in hand with our product and engineering teams to develop unique environments tailored to our prospects' needs. Now, I've been in the AP space for the better part of the last 5 years and automation space for the last 3. Started out at Cummins Engines, oversaw their full accounting lifecycle for their sales and service as well as operations department. That ultimately led into my first AP automation experience at another company where I onboarded and implemented over 150 plus customers as a customer success manager. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today, and I'm excited to show you more about Canvas's dashboards and reports. I will mention this will be a slightly shorter session than some of our last ones, but nonetheless, this is very crucial to any of our companies that value reporting. And before we dive in for today, let's talk briefly a little bit as to why companies partner with Canvas. The reason's really twofold. One is being our technology framework. Is that what drives immediate value and infinite extendability to our global enterprises. Now, as a part of our technology framework, there are two pieces to this. We have a multi-stage patented AI engine that executes up to 99.5% extraction accuracy and enables us to bring structure to various unstructured documents and scenarios. Essentially, without all of this, those downstream business processes don't really matter. The second part of our technology framework is going to be our flexible business rule framework. This allows us to create end-to-end touchless processes regardless of your company or industry-specific requirements. If you've been a part of a few of our last sessions, such as our 101, our PO processing and non-PO processing, we've shown and demonstrated how we can automatically publish incoming documents to your ERP given all validations have checked out. I do urge you to take a look at some of our past and previous webinars where we've hosted, talked more about our multi-stage patented AI engine, as well as our flexible business rule framework and how it's helping companies achieve near touchless processing with Canvas. Now, the second piece as to why companies partner with Canvas is because we're both a startup and a long-standing company, right? With those startup benefits, we're giving the latest and greatest cutting-edge technology. If OCR was really solving those problems for enterprises, we wouldn't be in business. We provide an agile approach for fast ROI with white glove service where every client counts. Now, when we're not showing our clients today, one of the things we do want to emphasize here is we don't put our clients into a box. Each customer is unique in their own way. We support a diverse range of industries, partnering with some of the largest event management firms, pharmaceutical and automotive manufacturers, as well as leaders in cybersecurity and electrical contracting, among others. Now, the hyper automation capabilities of Canvas is truly what creates end-to-end customizable workflows, leading to touchless processing. All of our clients, they all do document processing, but nobody does it the same. Our IDP technology has transformed enterprises of all sizes and sectors with a 0% attrition rate. Now, I'll talk a little bit more about the framework of Canvas. I know there's a lot going on in this slide, but to oversimplify it, Canvas is a digital AI clerk, right? Essentially, as we know, for many invoice and sales order processes, you're likely getting structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data sent to that centralized email channel, right? Canvas invoices, invoices at canvas.com, right? Sales orders at canvas.com. Among those, what Canvas is able to do is integrate directly with your centralized email channel or SharePoint site that is receiving these incoming invoices or sales orders. What we're able to do is ingest any type of document, Excel, XML, EDI, PDF, Word. This is what our multi-stage engine, as opposed to an OCR, is going to bring to our clients, right? We're not requesting that the vendors or customers send everything in a PDF format. The vendors don't need to change anything on their end. They can continue sending their structured, unstructured documents in any format to Canvas. Our ability to be integrated with that centralized channel. We're then ingesting those documents. What we're doing next is classifying. So with our IDP engine, we're actually able to differentiate and segregate invoices or sales orders versus others. Notoriously, Of course, you're getting those invoices to these emails, but among that, you're also getting statements, spam, a lot of other documents that don't necessarily reside within the invoice process, right? So what Canvas is able to do is classify those incoming documents as invoice or other and segregate them appropriately within the system. Next, we extract those documents at a 99.5% accuracy. So then all your downstream business rules, error correction, and collaboration is done. Essentially, as we're extracting those key pieces of information from the invoice, we're not only extracting that header information, but line information too, which is super resourceful in PO matching. Because of this, in our high extraction capabilities and our real-time integration with ERPs, we're able to give real-time validations on any missing information within the invoice document, any invalid or cross-matching information, such as customer not active, vendors not set up, duplicate invoices, just to name a few. Now, of course, while processing that invoice, all those business rules, those downstream processes, more or less your RPA functions are going to come into work. Any coding, any matching, any routing, that's all of our business rules. Now, of course, we're going to have maybe some errors that will come along and some collaboration. Canvas has in-app collaboration in which you can loop in any member of your team to take a look at the invoice or have any piece of communication, which is also captured within our audit trails. And then, of course, publishing. In addition to publishing and creating that invoice record within your ERP, we're going to send over that invoice attachment and any communication or collaboration that's happened on it. But in addition to this, we're not only able to create that invoice and attach the image within your ERP, we can also shoot the image or document into a SharePoint site for you to keep for better storage or an audit that may come up. What we pride ourselves the most on is an auto publish or touchless processing. From the time an invoice is received at your input channel, what we're able to do is extract and validate all that information that has come across and ultimately publish in your ERP without a human ever having to review. Take, for example, your three-way matched POs, where as long as that invoice that has come in matches the unit price and the receiving with my PO, then no one needs to ever look or approve the document. These are just some of the side cases in which we bring to customers that help them achieve touchless processing with Canvas. Now, talking about Canvas for the enterprise-wide value, essentially what we've done is combine that business rule framework and our IDP engine in order to bring touchless processing to our clients. Combined, they drive immediate value with cross-industry out-of-the-box use cases while being infinitely extendable to any other document processing and agentic use cases. Now, in a future session, we will demo our brand new vendor agent that assists AP and procurement teams in vendor onboarding and inquiries. Essentially, what these two pieces of our technology framework have opened up, of course, is the processing of invoices and sales orders, but also industry use cases too. For example, we have a customer that processes milk tickets. They're a cheese producer. With each vat that comes in of milk, there's a milk ticket assigned. The milk ticket has the driver, the grade of the milk, the volume, the mixture, all this information that is essentially plugged in from the document to their ERP. Canvas is able to extract those data pieces and fill them into the ERP, of course, as they come across. What this has all opened up for us is our agentic framework. As I mentioned, we introduced a vendor agent a few months back, and we'll be talking about that more in a future session that assists AP and procurement teams in vendor onboarding and inquiries, but also an AP agent live within the Canvas platform and a sales order agent too. Now, before we get to our demonstration today, I do just want to reiterate kind of the secret sauce of Canvas, right? Most companies OEM an OCR tool and say they use AI, where Canvas is really AI-driven with little elements of OCR. OCR uses that template-based approach, right? Look for my vendor in the top right, my total amount in the bottom right. As this approach comes across, you're going to have to teach that system where each data point will be for each vendor in each format. For example, say you receive a document scanned in or skewed, or your vendor decides to use a slightly different format. OCR is not going to be able to accommodate to those changes, right? Ultimately, requiring just as many manual touch points as your manual process once was. Our patented multi-stage AI engine produces 99.5% accuracy. And without ever seeing your documents, we'll get close to that 90 to 95%. But during implementation, we train our AI model to get to that 99.5% accuracy with no template approach. This makes for a faster time to value, more resilient, more reliable extraction, and the ability to tackle endless use cases. Now, for our demonstration today, again, it's going to be all about Canvas's dashboards and reports. So we'll go ahead and get started. If I come in here to my application, of course, Canvas, this is going to be where all of our dashboards are. Invoices, this is going to be the home of my clerks, any documents in process that need any coding, routing, or any error correction. Our training studio is where we go during implementation to train your documents to get that 99.5% accuracy. Others is going to be where we classify those documents as either an invoice or other. So this is where all of our statements, spam, and so forth will take place. And vendor onboarding is where Veronica, our AI vendor agent, is going to live to assist your procurement teams in onboarding new vendors. Configurations, of course, Canvas is a role-based platform. I'm seeing the configurations because I am an admin, but more or less, we do want to reillustrate that this is a role-based platform and we do value segregation of duties across your process. Now, let's come to my operations dashboard. So the first thing you'll notice is that I do have invoice and sales orders. Since these are two of the low-hanging fruits, we do have many customers on processing automation across their invoice and sales orders. So in this instance, we will see some invoice and sales orders, and of course, we have them separated. But let's talk about what's in our operations dashboard. Now, our operations dashboard is going to give a high value overview of key performance indicators to let AP managers know how Canvas is performing against the data we're intaking, right? Our operations dashboard ultimately provides framework for continuous improvement across different areas of AP. It's highly customizable and highly configurable to provide different viewpoints on specific areas. For example, we're going to see a lot of AP widgets here, such as, anything that's out for pending approval, any discounts, all your standard kind of AP metrics. But in addition to that, we're also going to give you some metrics on your ROI on Canvas and how well the system is performing against the documents we're intaking. So as you can see here at the top, I have some automation metrics that we're keeping track of. Our automated ingestion via email or uploaded manually within Canvas is my automated ingestion. Classification accuracy, this is telling us how well Canvas is classifying those documents as invoice or other. Our extraction accuracy, so with that multi-stage patented AI engine, we do want to reiterate that it is getting that 99.5% accuracy for training. But you can see here too, on this specific account, it's actually achieving a 99.88% accuracy. Very high, of course. And then our first time PO match rates and any new incoming PO documents that we're receiving, or invoices rather, what is the percent of which we are having straight through processing or error corrections? This is giving us this current number. Some explicit account, negotiated discounts, and spend under management. So you can see your non-PO versus PO spend. Very useful for any of our organizations looking to identify what is their non-PO versus PO percentage. We have our documents by stages. So this is, again, that high-level overview of all your documents in process. As you can see, we have many statuses that our invoices can be in our little circle graph is showing that. Each of these widgets are drill downable. So if I'm looking to see which of those documents have been rejected, deleted, I can actually, or maybe even pending approval, I can click directly in and see whom it's pending approval for. So really, really great. Again, not only are we providing you the data on, of course, your standard AP metrics, but once again, your ROI on Canvas. You can see here's the email reconciliation. So since we are integrating with your email, we can tell you how many of those emails do have invoices, which have other documents or no documents, maybe an inquiry or some type of spam. And then, of course, your email with unprocessed documents. We can also see any action pending with a collaborator. For example, maybe a GL account is missing on a document and we've set up a business rule to route those to Tanner, for example. We can see any of those documents out there that are pending with our collaborator. What's really great about this dashboard, it's letting you know the load balance across your AP team. So we can actually see the documents in process and who's assigned to them and the stages in which they are in. For any reason, maybe I just want to see any of those documents that our user has that is waiting for approval. I can easily unclick on my little statuses here and only see the waiting for approval. So these widgets are highly customizable. Each of them does have a little tooltip to let you know what they are referring to. We have our document aging report, of course, very useful for any AP team and understanding their aging documents. Any early discounts that may be coming up. Also a due date monitor as well to let you know of any of those documents that are coming overdue or that are overdue. Some more financial metrics. And if we scroll down, of course, some more of your standard AP reports, approval pending, any rejected documents and their top reasons. Maybe you want to keep track of, maybe there's a high rejection rate of your documents, and maybe you can identify a top reason where Canvas can insert a certain business rule or workflow to automate and help streamline these rejections. We can see our touched versus untouched analysis, letting us know those percentage of invoices that are being touched by a human or untouched, which is our auto-publish metric of where the time we're digesting that email with the document in the first place, making all of our validations, and immediately publishing to the ERP without any human review. Again, we can see some more of our documents by channels and month, how are our invoices being received. If we had any paid invoices, we can see the paid status of those. In this example, we have a widget that is keeping track of our rejected documents by our top vendors. And of course, a PO versus non-PO analysis, letting us know how much of our PO documents are being processed manually versus auto. Our non-PO, of course, the same here too, and then a total of the two. Now, this dashboard is highly customizable. We can drill down into any specific business unit if you're a multi-entity organization. We can select a certain vendor that we want to learn more about. We can export these to Excel, PDF, image, or Word, just depending on what is best for you. We can also determine it down to a certain time frame too, right? This is the highly customizable and configurable piece of this. It's drilling down into certain points of your business, but also the time frame as well. As you can see, by default, we have the last 30 days, but we can easily update that at any point. And then while we're seeing, of course, all these useful widgets today, they're not all that Canvas has to offer. We do have a full widget dashboard here in which you can add, replace, remove, or align widgets and where you would like to see them better. For example, maybe I'd like to see my documents and stages at the top. I can easily change it to save, and here you go. And then, of course, if there's any of these on the left-hand side that maybe I want to add into my dashboard to make it more resourceful for me, I can easily click here, move it to the right so it's now found in my dashboard. Click Save, and here you go. So again, our dashboard is highly configurable. It lets you know of areas where improvement is needed, your overview of processing times, some of those standard AP metrics such as aging, discounts, due dates, invoices pending approval, volume by vendor, and so forth. Once again, this dashboard ultimately provides a framework for continuous improvement across different areas of AP at a high level view for anyone that's not necessarily hands-on in the process, but more or less your CFOs, AP managers, directors, controllers who just want glimpses into it. Now, operations dashboard was just a start. We do have 3 dashboards. So the next is going to be our AIR. Our AIR dashboard is going to be a one-stop shop for any AIR analytics invoices can encounter during stages of processing. This is super useful for the AP team in understanding what errors their documents might be encountering. So you can see that our error by type, if it's an extracted or maybe a business rule type error. We can see these are broken down across different areas or segments. We can even see some of our top vendors, our error types, and our average error rate. So very, very useful for more of your AP clerks that are hands-on in the process, or once again, maybe that CFO or controller who wants a high-level overview and understanding where documents are getting held up and what are your common errors. Again, these are all things that you can take to your customer success manager and let them know, hey, I'm seeing some errors for extraction for my vendor Salesforce. what additional AI model training can we give or provide to those documents so we can get closer to that 99.5% accuracy and all my downstream business rules can follow, so I'm leading to more touchless processing. And then, of course, too, we have our fraud dashboard. So with our fraud dashboard, this contains analysis for fraud prevention, where Canvas has 10 different control points to let you know of any potential fraud behavior. So to start, we'll identify any of those invoices that have been flagged for fraud. Of those invoices that have been flagged, which of those are pending review and which have been processed, and then ultimately of those which has been rejected. Of course, in this specific instance, this customer is lucky in the case that they're not experiencing any fraud at the moment. But if they were, this is going to be that one-stop shop that lets them know of any fraud in which they can identify, maybe reach out to a vendor and let them know, or simply ignore. So that covers our dashboards. Again, they're highly customizable in which the display, the widgets that you're looking at. A lot of our past releases have included a lot of recent product requests from our customers in which they've been asking for more widgets based on their process, in which we've seen in the past few of our releases have come to light. So very, very special for a lot of our customers that have seen a lot of their feature requests come to life, especially through this dashboards and reportings. Now, the one thing I want to mention too, before I dive into our advanced reporting, is that Canvas does have an open API. So what I mean by this, if you're looking to run more reporting and more in-depth reporting, maybe there's a report in Canvas or dashboard that's not privy to you, what we can do, since we do have an open API, is generate that information, connect with your Snowflake, Tableau, or any place in which you are running reporting or any advanced reporting from, and allow that to become your source of truth for reporting. So not only would it be available in Canvas, but also any of these third-party application reporting tools, given that we do have an open API and can connect with those. Now, moving on to our advanced reporting. Our advanced reporting is really great. Of course, we're going to come to our invoices tab and filters. So we can see all of our different type of advanced reports that have been saved across. We have our system filters that are across our whole company. So these are easy reports that we can click on and see which of those documents are aging. Again, these are available to our full company. What's really great about Canvas is you can have your own saved and scheduled report. You can share it across teams or make it available for the whole company if it's a report that's widely ran across many different departments or teams. It's very, very easy to create an advanced report in Canvas. So if we come here to create a report, all of my reports, here you can see more or less some of the fields that we can run reports on. So this is going to be any of your extracted header or line item fields. Maybe you want to run reports on a specific vendor. Maybe you want to find a specific invoice number. Maybe you want to find invoices above $5,000, any invoices with heirs or a specific GL account or PO. These are all reports that can be ran within Canvas. Very simple, that it's not only the extracted fields from either your header or line that you're able to run reports on, but also whom it's assigned to, how long it's been assigned with, any statuses to, what are my documents that are currently pending approval. These are all reports that can be ran within Canvas using our advanced reporting. Again, very easy to create. All I need to do is select a field to start. So for example, I can do one on the stage in which the invoice is in. I can do equals and find any of my invoices that are in the action pending stage. So any of those ones where maybe a GL account was missing and it was assigned to Tanner for any reason. Once I've gone ahead and created that report on the filters that I want to, we can also add as many different conditions as we'd like on different areas. So we can have more or less an if-then function. We can schedule this report to be ran on a daily, weekly, or monthly frequency. So as you can see, if I choose weekly, I can choose which days of the week, monthly, which days in the month I'd like it to run on, and add in as many email recipients as I like to, just separated by a comma. After that, I can then either just run the search if I like, if this is just a one-off search, or I can save it. I just come back here. We'll enter in our email address. We can go ahead and save. We can give it a name. And we can actually store it under my filter, or if we want to share it across our team, we can put it under the shared folders. We can give it a name too. So maybe I want to say action pending documents. So I can save it. And then of course, now it's found under my saved filters here. Anytime I want to run a report on any of those, I can easily just come to my filters, come down to my filters. Again, maybe I want to see those action pending invoices. So I come here. Luckily, there are none in this case, but more or less, if there were any, we would get some type of report or generated feed just like so. Again, super, super useful in the advanced reporting, scheduled and saved reports. I do want to show an example of more or less how this would come through via email. So if we do take a look here, we can see how these are coming over on a saved and scheduled basis. So you can see this Canvas schedule report. This is the instance that I'm in, this demo sales. My report is titled errors, so I do get that. And here's the date, of course, in which it was generated. Now, if I come in, click in, Canvas can send these in Excel, Word, JPEG, XML, however you would like to receive these types of reports in a file. We can accommodate to that process. But as you can see on my report, we have those simple fields, all of our fields on the invoice, document name, subject, invoice amount. These can all be customized to your liking. And then, of course, most important and crucial is identifying those documents easily within the Canvas UI. So you can see it actually is giving me a direct link to where this invoice lives in Canvas, in which I can go in action. And that's all for today's on Canvas's dashboards and reports. If you do like what you saw today, I do recommend that you take a look at some of our past webinars on our 101 of Canvas, where we go through all ingestion, classification, non-PO, PO coding, and publishing, as well as another look at our dashboards and reports. We also have our non-PO processing as well, where we talk about business rules to automate GL coding, but also machine learning recommendations based on past coding habits to automate more of your GL accounting. We also have a PO matching one as well. I highly recommend anyone take a look into that if you do have a heavily backed PO process and how Canvas can extract the line items from invoices and match them to POs. And then, of course, stay tuned as some of our next demonstrations will be on our sales order processing as well as our vendor agent. Now, again, if you do have any questions and you like what you saw today or want to be a part of any of our past or future webinars, please feel free to shoot me a ping via LinkedIn. I'm more than happy to get you in touch with our marketing team and get you some of those videos over. Or if you're more interested in looking to get a demonstration of Canvas, as you did like what you saw today, please feel free to shoot me a ping once again, or feel free to reach out to my Vice President of Business Development, Cody Erickson. We'd be more than happy to set up a demonstration for you and show you all the great things that Canvas has to offer as far as automating your process goes. Thanks, everyone, and I'll see you next time.